The advice that you tabled today about the costs incurred, it might understand the total costs were $13 million.
Sorry, Senator Patterson, I haven't seen that document. So what costs are you referring to?
There was a question in the letter from Senator Cash and myself about the total cost of the dealing with this matter, and it appears to me that the total all-agency cost is $13 million. I'm just seeking to confirm that. I don't have page numbers on here, but it's the second last or third last page.
And our CFO is here, Senator, to explain
Great.
the basis of those costs.
Thank you.
That is correct. As of the 31st of December, the department has spent $8.5 million, and combined with the other agency expenditure, you're at $13.003 million.
Thank you, and I'm grateful that you've broken down those costs by agencies. Of that, about $1.1 million has been spent on accommodation at motels and hotels for the cohort. Is that right?
The pass-through accommodation, yes, that's correct. That's of the administrative expenses.
And is that ongoing as of today?
In terms of whether people are being accommodated?
Some people will still be being accommodated, but whether it's precisely the same amount would be difficult to say, but it would be under the status resolution support scheme.
If they're not being accommodated, what would be happening to them?
Oh, there's circumstances where people have moved in with family,
right?
That sort of thing.
Right. Would it be your evidence that the majority are still being housed at taxpayers' expense?
There's 136 of the cohort are in receipt of SRSS payments. That doesn't necessarily include accommodation for every single individual. The support services are tailored to the particular needs of the individual.
And it's worth noting, Senator Patterson, that some of these costs have only had to be incurred because of the decision of the High Court. B, if not for that decision, these people would have still been in detention at taxpayers' cost. And as I understand it, many of the costs that have been incurred here are exactly the same, the same arrangements as arrangements that were in place under the former government as well, when it came to releasing people from detention.
Yep, sure. $417,000 is income support, is that right?
That's correct.
Is that ongoing as well?
So the SRSS payments are, they work through a 12 plus 12 week system, so where people are within that period of time, they could be ongoing, but again it depends on individual circumstances. And so
what individual circumstances would lead to that being varied? Why would you not be eligible?
Not everyone is engaging with the SRSS program.
Right. Do you know how many of the 149 are in receipt of the SRS?
136.
136 are. And the reason why the others are not engaging,
I don't
they don't need it, they don't want it, they're not eligible?
Don't need it, don't want it, not eligible, they could be living with family. There's a number of possibilities.
Right. So they're not eligible for it if they're living with family?
No, so they don't have to engage,
Sure.
accept the SRSS payments. There's a range of services offered under SRSS, and it really does depend on the individual circumstances.
Sure. If they breach their visa conditions, does that affect their eligibility?
To the extent that a breach could lead to being incarcerated, that would affect their eligibility.
Right. So if they breach their visa conditions and they're incarcerated, and we're looking forward to the answers on notice about how many have been, they would no longer be receiving it.
No. I might just. So I think that's correct. But I might just get one of my colleagues to come to the table with a bit more information on SRSS.
I think, Senator, to answer the general question, everyone, all of the NZYQ affected individuals have access to the SRSS program. It's on a needs basis. So if they were, for example, reincarcerated, they no longer require some of that support, so it would no longer be provided. But it's based on needs, not eligibility, so to speak.
Okay. So if the 6 or 7 who've breach their visa conditions are incarcerated or held in some kind of detention, they're not going to be getting the payment. What about the 18 or so who've been charged with state or other federal offences?
If they're still in the community and they require that level of support, that will still be provided to them.
Right. So they've committed one crime which has led them to be put into prison or immigration detention in the first place. They've been released, they've committed another crime, and they could still be in receipt of taxpayer funding for living expenses.
I think, Senator Patterson, I think what the officials have tried to do is inform you of what the general rules are. I think it would be wise for us to take on notice any specific questions about what is happening with the particular people we're talking about.
Okay.
Because it may be that that the general rules aren't being applied for some reason that we're not aware of.
Okay.
I just want to be careful not to extrapolate general rules for what is exactly happening in this situation.
Okay. All right. I will look forward to those answers on notice. I note that departmental officials met with Minister Giles' office on the 8th of August, the 14th of September and the 12th of October to discuss the case. Was the Minister present at any of those meetings?
No.
No? Okay, thank you. That was quick.